Gotta put on some lipstick, or lip gloss. Cause my lips are dry. It feels like I only got it on one side. This stuff smells like a beach. Like I'm on the beach. Okay, we're gonna read today. I took a bite of a Snickers. Of a Snickers. Okay. 10 minutes. We're starting on page 160. Okay. So too, and his retainers, at seeing this to me laughable sight, looked grave, agitated, their thumbs and twitched the corners of their mouth. Looked grave, agitated their thumbs, and twitched the corners of their mouths. Just as I was crossing So too's threshold, to my inexpressible chagrin, I discovered that I had lost my purse containing a large sum of money. In a desperate hope that I might have dropped it on the seashore, I bounded away in that direction, but I had not gone 100 paces ere I met Bulger carrying the purse in his mouth. I had in truth dropped it while kneeling on the beach and caressing my beloved rescuer. Noting that in my eagerness to follow my gracious host, I had not missed the lost treasure, Bulger had driven away several of So too's retainers, who manifested a desire to appropriate the pouch of gold to their own use, and picking it up in his teeth, had raced after me as fast as his burden would permit. As we crossed So too's threshold, several small woolly dogs sprang out and gathered about Bulger. They were apparently delighted to meet with one of their race, so distinguished in appearance and dignified in carriage. Fain would they have exchanged the usual canine civilities with Bulger, but he absolutely declined to enter into any conversation with them or to express any surprise at these extraordinary-looking cousins of his, which seemed like so many animated bundles of freshly ginned cotton. Keeping close at my heels, he skillfully avoided their advances and gave a low growl of relief when the door of the antechamber was closed upon them. After a warm bath, my stiffened limbs were limbered up by the stroking, patting, and rubbing of So too's bath assistants. I was then invited to encase my body in a rich suit of embroidered silk, and this done, was conducted into the presence of the amiable So too, who received me with a smile that was as persistent as it was broad. Several hours were now consumed in drinking tea, eating dainty little sugar cakes, and telling each other of the most extravagant and shameless fibs in the shape of compliments. Compliments about everything: voice, eyes, ears, chin, mouth, hands, feet, etc. Although I only reached to So too's shoulder, he regretted in a piteous tone his lack of stature and praised my tall, stately, noble, commanding height. Overcome at last by sheer exhaustion, So too closed his eyes and appeared to have dropped off in a little nap. Seizing upon the opportunity, I raised my voice and began to urge upon him the necessity of immediate action with regard to me and my men, whereupon he arose, and after a series of kowtows, the same broad smile playing around his wide mouth and small, kindly black eyes, withdrew to consult with his assistant, sub-assistant, and his first and second sub-assistants. It was quite dark when So too re-entered the room. Bulger and I, during his absence, had slept most soundly. No wonder, for we were both tired to the bone. Orders were now given to illuminate the halls and apartments. In a few moments, thousands of the most brilliantly colored and quaintly decorated lanterns shed a delightfully soft glow over everybody and everything. Again, we took our places around the superbly decorated table which held the paraphernalia for brewing tea and the exquisitely painted cups and saucers of eggshell thinness, and the tea drinking and cake eating were resumed. Again, I skillfully turned the conversation to the subject of my departure for the nearest seaport. Again, so too arose and backed out of the room for the purpose of holding another consultation. By this time, my stock of patience had dwindled down considerable. Every moment I could feel my blood grow warmer and warmer. After a delay of half an hour or so, a retainer entered to inform me that so too had fallen asleep in the council room, and that no one save a mandarin with an opaque blue, transparent blue, flowered red, or plain red button could presume to awaken him, and that there was no mandarin of so exalted a dignity within 50 miles of that spot. At these words, my blood fairly boiled over. I sprang to my feet and began to pace the floor like a caged animal. Coming to a halt in front of a tall lacquer cabinet loaded down with costly porcelain cups and vases, I raised my foot and, kicking out vigorously, toppled the thing over on the floor. The crash was terrible. I was really startled, for I was afraid I had knocked half the house down. But I had the satisfaction of seeing the mandarin come rushing into the room, followed by his assistants, sub-assistants, gong beaters, sword bearers, head shavers, ear ticklers, tongue scrapers, nail polishers, and skin rubbers, besides many others of his retainers, whose offices and callings were unknown to me. "You have deliberated, now decide," I exclaimed, in a tone of voice that for depth and volume would have done credit to the hero of a blood-curdling drama, and at the same moment I placed the sole of my foot against another cabinet, quite as lofty as the one I had just toppled over, and quite as richly laden with curios, vases, and ivories. So too was now wide awake, and not at all anxious to see the second cabinet share the fate of the first. "Thy foot to its place," he called out, waving me to a seat, and placing himself between me and the threatened cabinet. "Thy foot to its place, my gracious benefactor." After he had seen me safely seated, he continued this: "Know, then, my gentle guest, that I, so too, Imperial Mandarin of the White Glass Button, after mature deliberation with my most honorable council, do order and decree that thou and thy servants shall be, as thou hast prayed, forthwith conducted to the city of Canton, and there be delivered into the keeping and custody of the officers of him of the sacred countenance, until opportunity shall present itself to procure means of sending thee and thy servants back to your native land." Here I bent my body in token of my profound gratitude. The mandarin likewise made a low obeisance and then continued: "I do further decree that the evil spirit which attends thee in the shape of a dog shall be at once bound with chains and cast into prison, there to await his trial for witchcraft. Had so too plunged a two-edged knife into my vitals, I could not have felt a more agonizing hurt. Bulger, my beloved, arrested? Witchcraft? Chains? Prison?" I stammered out. "I have so decreed," calmly replied so too. "Oh, no, 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 no," I cried. "It cannot, it must not be. He is no evil spirit. No evil dwells in him. He is but a simple, loving, intelligent dog. I crave suspension of this terrible decree. What hath he done? Oh, beloved Bulger, is this thy reward for saving 14 human lives? Is this the way in which thou art to be repaid for all thy courage, thy love, thy devotion? Oh, no, no. Kill me if you will, cruel stranger. Thrust me into a prison cell, but spare Bulger, spare him." I could say no more. It grew black before me. A fit of vertigo came upon me. I staggered, reeled, fell lifeless to the floor. When I came to my senses, so too servants were busy rubbing and chafing my hands and feet and burning pungent wax beneath my nostrils. Bulger, uttering the most piteous and anxious cries, was hastening from one side to the other, pausing now and then for an instant to lick my hand or face. I sat upright to collect my senses. Then, clasping Bulger in my arms, I patted, smoothed, kissed, and caressed him amid 100 sighs and groans, heart-rending enough to melt a breast of stone. Then, throwing myself on my knees in front of So Too, I implored him to be merciful, to spare a faithful, loving being whose heart was as free from guile as the flinty rock from tenderness, whose life had but one thought: to serve, guard, defend, save his master. "Rise, unfortunate stranger," was So Too's reply, in a tone of deep commiseration, taking me by the hand and gently compelling me to be seated by his side. "List, if thou shouldest slice my body into 10,000 pieces, I could not revoke this decree." Well, why not? Okay. So tomorrow we start on page 162. What happened there? $162. Okay. Another day down. Another one bites the dust. And another one, I think I sing every day. And another one's gone, another one's gone, another one bites the dust. Hey. Okay. Quit procrastinating on anything and everything. Time wasted is just that, wasted. Avoid distractions and the noise around me. Block it out. The art of continuous self-love through food, through water intake, through intentional meditation and thought. Something inside of me is superior to circumstance. Is it kind? Is it true? Does it reflect my authentic self? Focus more on money and its education. Focus more on self-discipline. See the sun, honor the moon. Forward momentum. The path out of hell is through misery. Honor my journey. We are slaves to our own incessant urges to escape the present moment. Meditate, walk, journal, stretch, love animals, leave life to wonder all it needs. Less stress, more fairy tale. Work on bettering the love I show my body through the food and beverage I put in it. With money, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Focus. Lose any ties to victim mentality. Continue to help yourself. My hair's crazy, yeah? I took a shower today. I took a shower and I washed my hair. Okay. Getting old, getting old, getting old. All right.